Moshpit Passion, for the passion of music.
Herzlich willkommen hier bei Moshpit Passion auf YouTube. Ich bin der Kari und heute haben wir einen ganz besonderen Gast hier und zwar die Hardcore-Legende Harley Flanagan von den Mighty Cro-Mags. Und wir werden heute über das Album sprechen, The Age of Quarrel, weil da gibt es eine ganz besondere Geschichte dazu. Das wird zwar wieder veröffentlicht, aber wie soll ich sagen, da läuft nicht alles sauber im Hintergrund ab. Plus natürlich, wir werden über die neue Cro-Mags-Tour sprechen, die diesen Sommer stattfinden wird. Plus die EP, die Ende 2020 rausgekommen ist und natürlich das noch aktuelle Album. Und ich werde jetzt halt in Englisch rüber switchen. Ihr kennt das halt von den letzten Interviews, dass ich dann immer hin und her switchen werde zwischen Englisch und Deutsch für euch das Ganze übersetzen werde. So Harley, thank you very much to be here, our second time.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be back.
And
so I guess we get to take up where we left off. I'm getting ready to come to Europe. That I think was the gist of our last conversation. And as we all know, a lot of things have happened since then. The whole Corona thing. So here we are, about 2 years later, and we're getting ready to come finally.
It's completely crazy because I was remembering our first conversation and you said, down the street, there's some kind of ice truck and they're bringing people in body bags in there and they're putting people after people after people.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on there? And that was completely surreal. And
yeah, it was pretty intense. But you know what? It's been a rough time. Sadly, a lot of people, lost their lives. A lot of people, but this is reality. Life is always going to find ways to test us and new ways for us to die.
Yeah. Ich habe gerade gefragt, weil.
But I'm looking forward to getting on tour, man. It's long overdue. I'm really excited.
Ich habe gerade ihn gefragt, weil unsere letzte Unterhaltung ist schon 2 Jahre her und damals sagte er mir, ja, hier die Straße runter, da gibt es eine Art Auto, DHL-Auto, Paketwagen und dort packen sie die ganzen Leute rein in sogenannten Body Bags, also in so toten Säcke und die stapeln die übereinander, weil damals gerade in New York war das halt ziemlich massiv mit Corona und den Todesumständen damals und er sagte gerade so, ja, das ist Teil des Lebens, es ist natürlich sehr, sehr schockierend, wie auch immer freut sich die Band zurückzukommen nach Europa und das ist auch etwas, worüber ich jetzt sprechen möchte. So Harley, you more or less you stated this in your last sentence.
Yeah.
Talking about touring in Europe, and I remember you did something special. You did, how can I say it? A live streaming event, I think.
It was yeah. That was kind of just a spur of the moment thing. I mean, we literally we were supposed to play a concert with Body Count that day, and within 48 hours of the show happening, we were still being told that the show was going to happen, and then as more and more, as the panic spread and more borders were being shut and then the quarantine went into effect, the show got canceled just 48 hours before. So it's a quick story, then you could translate it.
Yeah.
We were at practice getting ready for it and we got the news and I was looking around and my friend had his laptop open sitting there on the keyboard and it just hit me like, you know what, let's just play and broadcast it live on all my social media platforms and just do a free show on all my Facebook and on my Instagram, and then we'll post it on YouTube and let's just do that because everybody's stuck in their house right now. And I just didn't know what else to do. I was like, we were ready to play. We were practicing. We were excited, So go ahead, you could translate that and I'll take it over.
Alright. Also ich habe gerade gefragt, wie das halt damals war, nämlich als das Ganze losging, dieses ganze Thema, hat die Band natürlich sich auf die Tour vorbereitet und Harley sagte gerade, man sollte, also die hätten an dem Tag, als dieser ganze Lockdown war, eine Show spielen sollen mit Bodycount. 48 Stunden vorher wurde das mehr oder weniger gecancelt. Die Band hat geprobt und ein Bekannter von ihm sagte so, hey, ich habe hier einen Laptop, du hast deine Social Media Accounts, lass uns das Ganze doch einfach broadcasten, und genau da ist halt dieses ganze Thema entstanden, yeah, mit dem Livestreaming. So yeah, and after your
So what wound up happening, I mean, it got over 200,000 live views while it was happening, because there were a lot of people throwing viewing parties with like groups and groups of people and stuff, and people watching it with their friends, and it really spread. And you know, we didn't realize, well, I mean, I didn't think about the fact that we were probably one of the first, if not the first people to do that. But then a lot of people followed suit, and actually a lot of people started monetizing it, and we're like, how can we make some money out of this? You know, I just did it out of frustration. You know, I did it. I really, first and foremost, out of my own frustration, and then kind of just solidarity for everyone else who was equally frustrated. Like, we're all fucking fucked right now. We're all in this together. So here's a show you can watch from your house. And I just tried to give them the best show I could under the circumstances. We got a top line film crew in there. It was the last thing they filmed at that place before it closed down because of Corona.
Whoa.
And so, you know, I'm happy I was able to do that.
Was Harley gerade sagte, die Location, wo die das Ganze aufgenommen haben, das war tatsächlich auch die letzte Show, die jemals dort stattfand, halt wegen Corona, weil ja, alles wird halt dicht gemacht und keine Einkünfte, wie willst du da halt die Miete bezahlen? Was er noch sagte, was ziemlich erfreulich ist, über 200.000 Leute haben das tatsächlich sich reingezogen, und natürlich haben die Leute Partys veranstaltet, und er sagt auch so, ja, das hat ihn so ein bisschen aufgemuntert, dass es verschiedene Partys gab und die Leute hatten dann etwas, woran sich zu erfreuen. Stellenweise hat man das dann auch im Nachgang monetarisiert, um halt so ein bisschen die Unkosten reinzuspielen, weil das Ganze war natürlich alles umsonst. Die Band hat dafür halt dementsprechend keine Kohle zu bekommen. Und im Nachgang sagt er ja auch, das wird alles sehr, sehr professionell dokumentiert, und da ist auch etwas sehr, sehr Spezielles und etwas Besonderes entstanden. So, after that, something, yeah, you released something that was this baby here.
Yeah,
Variant. Yeah. And this right here came shortly after, at the end of the year. And it was really the soundtrack of 2024. No, what I'm saying, 6 tracks.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think kind of the, you know, both those records are pretty, very symbolic for the time, you know.
Yeah.
And this one particularly, what happened was my drummer, we were getting ready for the tour, and he got stuck here. My drummer actually lives in Hamburg most of the time.
Seriously, Hamburg?
Yes, seriously. My drummer lives in Hamburg most of the time. So he comes over here, you know, for a few months every year, stays with his mother, who lives very close to me. She lives in the Bronx. And we practice and record. And whenever we have a tour, he comes home for a few, like, you know, a month or so prior. But so he was here getting ready for tour and got stuck here and wound up being here for 7 months. So, you know, fortunately, he's from here originally, so he wasn't like completely alien to the environment. But so while he was here, I just got into the studio with him as soon as I could at my friend's house, who had a studio in his house. So we were able to start recording, even though there was still the quarantine restrictions. And we went in and created that record in the studio. So, you know, I think that's why it has a certain sense of like urgency to it, because it was really just like, okay, here's a riff, here's another riff, here's another part. That's the song, you know. So when you write like that, and that's when it's really, the fire is just like, you know what I mean? There's that spontaneous. Sometimes you overthink shit,
Yeah.
I didn't really overthink anything. We just went and made it, you know.
I mean, it sounds great. You know, it's also different from your full length. It's not like, all right, we're repeating what we did on the last record, because you have instrumental songs completely different. It's more about a vibe thing, you know?
Yeah, that was just total madness. That thing was actually twice as long, but I was like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. So I was like, how much can they take this shit? You know, I actually had to cut it in half because it was like fucking nuts. But you know, and again, I feel like I have another album that's almost finished. I just haven't been able to finish it due to different circumstances. But and I think it's equally as progressive. You know, the same way those two have a certain similarity that you can trace going all the way through all my music. Everything's always got a little change, a little bit different. So I think that this next thing, you're going to hear things that make you feel comfortable, things that are familiar to you. But again, I'm trying to always push the boundaries of my music, you know, my hardcore. That's what I do, is not what other people do. I'm always I don't try to stick within the confinements of the genre.
So I will translate it short for our German audience. Wer es nicht mitbekommen, und zwar haben die Cro-Mags noch im Jahre 2020 das gleichnamige Album, besser gesagt ist eine EP, die rausgekommen ist, veröffentlicht, und Harley sagt gerade, es ist sein Schlagzeuger, der wohnt in Hamburg, ist aber rübergereist halt in die USA für die Tour. Man war halt mehr oder weniger, saß man auf dem Trockenen fest, konnte nichts machen, er konnte auch nicht ausreisen. Da hat Harley gesagt, so komm, weißt du was, wir gehen zum nächstmöglichen Zeitpunkt irgendwie ins Studio und zimmern hier ein Album zusammen, und das ist dann diese EP geworden. Er sagte auch, es war eigentlich doppelt so lang. Er hat dann gesagt, so, ja, nee, komm, lass uns das halt kurz und bündig halten, lieber Klasse statt Masse rauszubringen. Und das Werk hier ist auch etwas, wo ich sage, das unterscheidet sich halt von der noch aktuellen Platte, und es ist viel mehr ein Vibe-Ding, also viel progressiver, auch instrumentale Songs sind raus, und beschreibt eigentlich das wie die Band halt 2020 erlebt hat. Und er sagt auch, das war halt, wie man es halt so früher gemacht hat. Ne? Man ist ins Studio gegangen, man hat direkt drauf losgelegt, ohne Sachen zu irgendwie überdenken, sondern ziemlich straight das Ganze auf eine Platte gebracht. Er sagte auch, aktuell arbeitet er an einer neuen Scheibe, die ist ein bisschen mehr progressiver. Er versucht halt, die Wurzeln irgendwie beizubehalten und immer nur so kleine Sachen zu verändern, damit sich das Ganze auch irgendwie abhebt. So, yeah.
Man, I gotta start making my answer. I gotta make my answers shorter, bro.
Why?
Because I'm giving you too much work, man. I could never remember the entire sentence someone said and translate it. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, good, man. No, it's part of my job, you know, and after a specific time, you get trained on that. And for me, it's easier to translate and to understand English than to speak, actually, because some sentences are not so, how can I say, so right when I'm speaking or something like that, because it's a bit rusty.
It's a different grammar. It's a different way of constructing the sentences than you would in German language. You know, I get it. But you're able to absorb the information and process it. Like, thing. I get it. Yeah. I'm the same with Danish, you know, because I speak Danish.
Yeah. I remember that you told us in your book, I guess.
Yeah.
And what I want to talk about is also touring, because I see more and more dates will be added also in the next weeks. And do you have a major supporting act? Because I remember when you play in Dortmund, there are friends of mine who are supporting. You're doing the local act.
Bro, I couldn't tell you, man. I'm so removed from the whole booking process. Like, I'm so busy just with my day-to-day life that I don't think about that stuff, you know.
Ich habe ihn gerade noch gefragt wegen der Tour, ob es da irgendwie so einen Hauptheadliner gibt, weil ich weiß zum Beispiel Bangenhol werden ist unter anderem in Dortmund sein, und sagte so, nee, in dieser Welt also mehr oder weniger bin ich nicht mehr ein Teil davon, diesen ganzen Booking-Prozess, er hat seinen Alltag, da kümmern sich andere Leute drum. So yeah, I want to switch the topic because this is actually the reason why we are here, because it's about the records, yeah, the Age of Quarrel. For our German viewers, I will translate now the current status, what happened last year in summer about the record store day, and then I will give you the, let me say, the voice to talk about it. Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want, you could also explain to them, you could literally translate the statement we just put out about the new thing, because it's really, you know, it's just more of the same. But go ahead, please, do your thing.
Also, wer es nicht mitbekommen hat, und zwar zum Record Store Day 2021 sollte The Age of Quarrel von den Cro-Mags neu re-released werden auf farbigen Vinyl. Ich glaube, irgendwie auf 2500 Stück oder sowas limitiert. Und da hat sich halt Harley eingeschaltet und hat gesagt, so halt, Moment, wir haben von dem Album nicht einen einzigen Cent gesehen. Wie kann es sein, dass das Album immer mal wieder veröffentlicht wird, doch die Leute, doch die Musiker doch nicht bezahlt werden? Da war es so, wäre das halt so ein bisschen der Folk Record Store Day. Das Ganze wurde halt aufgesplittet auf 2 Tage. Es sollte zum ersten Tag halt rauskommen. Dadurch, dass Harley gesagt hat, hört mal, das Ganze mag ich nicht so, lass uns mal drüber sprechen, wurde das Ganze gecancelt, kam dann doch raus, weil nämlich das Label dahinter mehr oder weniger gesagt hat, ihr könnt halt nichts tun, weil die Rechte haben wir. Und da sagte Harley, ja, wir haben die Verträge nicht, könnt ihr uns die bitte geben? Und dann sagten die auch, nee, die geben wir euch nicht, ihr müsst uns mehr oder weniger dafür verklagen. Das Ganze wird jetzt wieder veröffentlicht, ist jetzt am 1. April rausgekommen auf schwarzem Vinyl und dann ging das Ganze von vorne los und Harley hat ein Statement ja nochmal auf Facebook abgesetzt und sagt, hört mal zu, liebe Leute, wenn ihr dieses Album kauft, die Künstler, die auf dieser Platte sind, die kriegen nicht einen einzigen Cent und hat dann auch wieder gesagt und hat versucht, sich mit dem Label irgendwie zu einigen. Was das Label mehr oder weniger gesagt hat, ist halt, ja, dann verklagt uns doch, damit ihr den Vertrag einsehen könnt, weil ja, damals hatte man einen Vertrag, 2 Verträge, auf jeden Fall irgendwann aus den 80ern, ist fast 40 Jahre her, hatte man die nicht mehr. So, yeah, I translated it very short. And yeah, what I want to talk about is the thing about, let me say, the contract that you asked the label if they can send you a copy of the contract, and they said more or less, go yourself, sue us if you want just to see the contract.
Basically, yeah, pretty much.
And
it's you know, it's really beyond comprehension, you know. But you got to understand, some people don't care about what's right, what's wrong. They just don't, you know. Sadly, a lot of people don't care about what's right and what's wrong, you know. And you got to remember that the music business in the beginning was designed by the mafia. So it was always designed to exploit people, to take advantage of people who, you know, didn't know anybody, or, you know, it's really like a pimp relationship to a prostitute. You know, it's like they use you up until you're worth nothing to them, and then they leave you dead in the street. They don't really care. They never really, it was just, so some labels, you know, have started to catch up a little bit. Some people are starting to do the right thing, but historically, the artist has always gotten the shitty end of the payback, and the label has always gotten the majority of the money. And you even forget about with small artists, but even, you know, when mainstream pop artists who are like making millions have to sue record labels because they're not seeing the money they should, you know, it just goes to show that this is just an industry that's built on exploitation. And sadly, we were one of the first hardcore bands that, you know, got taken advantage of by an actual label. And, you know, people are always very quick to say, oh, well, you shouldn't have signed the shitty contract. I get all these assholes on Instagram or whatever. Well, you shouldn't have signed. It's easy to say now, you know, that you have, you know, free legal help and this and that. But I had just turned 18 years old, and I was living in a in a squat with a burnt out building with no electricity, no running water. I was literally shoplifting food to survive, to eat, you know, and going to free food places and shit like that. So the idea of having an actual record out that was going to be like in record stores, an album, was so mind-boggling to me that, like, you mean I don't have to like scrape together like somehow and like put out a single and like do some little, you know, like, wow, I'm actually gonna fucking have a record out. Like, that was such a mind-blowing thing to me that I couldn't even understand the consequences of what I was signing. And I had no lawyer. We were provided a lawyer by Rock Hotel Records. So everything was set up to exploit us and fuck us. And I think that was one of the main reasons that the original band fell apart. The original lineup that was on, and I say original band, there were other members prior to that lineup, but that's why that lineup fell apart, was because we really were, you know, there's more to it, obviously, you know.
I will translate for German viewers. Genau, ich habe Harley gefragt, ja, kannst du noch etwas dazu sagen, wie der aktuelle Status ist? Und er sagte auch, ja, also beziehungsweise wegen dem Vertrag, dass es wirklich so ist, dass Harley angefordert hat, könnt ihr uns bitte eine Kopie vom Vertrag senden? Und er sagte, ja, es ist wirklich so, dass das Label gesagt hat, hör mal, weißt du was, du willst unseren Vertrag haben, hol doch erstmal lieber hier einen Anwalt, der dann erstmal sich durchklagt, damit ihr den Vertrag überhaupt nur mal sehen könnt. Und er sagte auch, ja, manchen Leuten ist das vollkommen egal, ihm ist es nicht egal, weil es geht hier um Dinge wie zum Beispiel, was ist richtig und was falsch. Und die ganzen Leute, die auch im Internet zu ihm sagen, ja, warum hast du damals den Vertrag unterschrieben? Er sagt halt, er hat damals in einer Zeit gewohnt in New York, wo es halt ganz schön düster war. Er hat in einem runtergekommenen Haus gelebt, hatte weder was zu essen, was zu trinken, weder fließend Wasser, ist zu ja, sag ich mal, karitären Einrichtungen gegangen, um sich da ja zu ernähren, um sich Kleidung zu holen. Und dann sagt er auch, ja, dann kommt halt ein Label, will deine Kunst vermarkten, der will dein Album in einen Plattenladen reinsetzen mit einer Single und alles. Und dann sieht man vielleicht ein bisschen Geld davon, man hat die Möglichkeit, auf Tour zu gehen. Wer würde das hier nicht unterschreiben? It's an interesting point, what you said about, let me say, the haters on the internet, that they said, why did you sign this back in the 80s? Because a lot of people said, yeah, the one thing is that a lot of fans, they were young, but on the other hand, they give them a space, an audience, you know, there's a distribution behind this. So for all these haters out there.
Well, we didn't know any better. I mean, we really didn't. And also for all these people talking shit, we didn't have families that was gonna, you know, I didn't have a mother who was gonna get me a lawyer. I was on my own. I don't think any of these people who talk any of this shit really have perspective on it, because most of them are too young to even know what life was like back then, you know, at all. Like, I didn't have you know, my mom buying me a guitar, you know. I didn't have any of the little bullshit luxuries that all these shit talking people take for granted. I literally was living with no fucking running water and no electricity. So, like, stick it up your ass.
Definitely.
Period.
What interesting is, I saw a video from a guy who did a video about you. It was 2 months ago or something. He was stalking on your Insta.
I heard about it.
That guy.
Whatever. You know what? You know what that says to me? It says to me that this guy really actually loves me, and he's just desperate to get my attention, you know, because I didn't even fucking watch it. I'm like, dude, you know, get off my dick, you know.
What I try to say is that he is acting like a tough guy on the internet about a person who more or less defined that tough guy thing during a dark time in New York, where a word like gentrification was completely, I don't know, new or something like that. And this person is telling a lot of crazy things where I might think, if you got the balls, which you got in front of your PC, step up and tell it this person right in your face. And the last couple of days, he released
and even then, like, who cares? That is just what do they call that shit? Clout chasing. Like when nobody's fucking try to use your name to get attention for themselves. It's like, okay, congratulations, little boy. You got a few views because you mentioned my name. Now go, brush your teeth and do your homework and go to bed. You know, I didn't fucking watch the shit. Like, dude, whatever, man. Like, you know, like I said, man, that shit just, what it says to me is this kid actually loves me and he just doesn't know how to express it.
Yeah.
You know, because he wouldn't fucking sit around fucking being so on my cock if he didn't have some sort of love for me. Okay, he can call it hate, but you know what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm a grown up. I ain't got time for this shit. It's like, this is what fucking kids do now. You know, they make memes and use other people's credibility to try to get some for themselves. You know, I come from a generation when people had to earn their own credibility. They couldn't just jock other people, you know.
Definitely. It's something what I actually hate about this new community bashing other people completely in front of the PC. I mean, it's like, it's easy to say, hey, I don't like you because, and talking really bad shit, instead of go straight to somebody in front of person and saying this right to his or her face and see what the reaction is.
Yeah, but again, even then, who the cares what you think? And why do you think you're so important that you need to share your opinion of me with me? Like, dude, I'm just minding my business and living my life. What the makes you think that you are so goddamn important that you need to share your thoughts with me? I don't give a fuck. There's actually people in the world that I know that I feel like talking to. I'm supposed to listen to some self-absorbed fantasy land motherfucker who wants to share their opinion on me. Like, go stick your head back up your ass, bro. Like, you know, it took a lot of work for life to create you, and you're gonna. This is what you're gonna spend your time telling me what you think of me. You know what I think of you? I think go fucking do something else with your time.
Definitely. I will translate it quick for a German audience. Ich habe gerade angesprochen, dass es halt immer wieder Leute gibt, die ganz einfach im Internet sagen, ach ja, damals, oder sag ich mal, solche Besserwisser, die halt gesagt haben, ja, warum hast du das früher unterschrieben? Warum hast du dies und jenes gemacht? Und er sagte ganz einfach, er hatte sowas damals. Er hatte damals kein luxuriöses Leben wie eine Mutter, die ihn das erklärt hat oder auch einen Anwalt besorgt hat oder nicht mal ein Instrument hat. Es ist ganz einfach für Leute heutzutage da zu sitzen und einfach Mist zu reden. Und ich habe ihn darauf angesprochen, dass es, sag ich mal, Leute im Internet gibt, die einfach wahllos und unbegründet ihn halt bashen in den sozialen Medien, sich darüber lustig machen und Videos machen. Er sagte ganz einfach, zum einen interessiert mich das nicht, er hat sein eigenes Leben, die Leute haben Langeweile und es ist einfach nur in seinen Namen hochziehen, weil er halt einen gewissen Status hat, die Leute kennen ihn, die wissen halt auch, ja, er polarisiert, aber die Leute, die springen da drauf und die ziehen sich da bald hoch und sagt aber auch, selbst wenn diese Person persönlich zu ihm hinkommen würde und auch das in sein Gesicht sagen würde, sagt, wer bist du, dass mich deine Meinung ganz einfach interessiert. Es gibt ein paar Leute in seinem Leben, da natürlich interessiert ihn das, aber sowas wie Kredibilität früher, das musste man sich erarbeiten. Das ist nicht einfach heutzutage mehr wie vor dem PC sitzen und einfach hin und her da seine Witzchen machen. So, das sind auch Sachen meiner Meinung nach, die sich da auch nicht gehören und einfach komplett kindisch sind. So yeah, I would like to turn to the record. The Age of...
Could I just say this? You could summarize what I just said like this.
Yeah.
Opinions are like animals.
Everyone
has one. You know?
Yep. Harley hat ein sehr, sehr schönes Statement gesagt und hat gesagt, Meinungen sind wie A-Löcher, jeder hat eins. It's great. It's perfect. That fits. We say the same in Germany, actually.
It's the universal truth.
Yeah, definitely. It fits perfect. And I want to get the turn back to the record. I personally, it's for me interesting. I know the current, let me say, status between the members who played on that record, that you're more or less divided, let me say it this way. And isn't it somehow, I want to say, not interesting is not the right word, but somehow, yes.
Ironic, maybe?
Ironic that you have to unite for a record which called The Age of Quarrel. Let me say...
To be fair, okay, the drama didn't really start there because the original demo that we did before the quarrel, Paris and his old man, his father fucked the whole band on that. Like he pressed it for us because he was in the country business. He manufactured the tape for us. And when he manufactured it, he gave his son all the writing credit on it. So none of us see any money for that either, except for fucking Paris. And, you know, even when me and him like started working together on Revenge and this and that, he never fixed that. So, you know, that's, you know, so before the Age of Quarrel drama with Profile happened, there was already a shit stain on this. Okay, so he can, you know, he can talk all the shit he wants about me and all the shit he wants about John. That shit's all really a smoke screen for the fact that him and his dad were really kind of some scumbag motherfuckers because his father knew the business and knew the record industry, and none of us did. We just sent him the fucking tape to get manufactured. So what wound up happening is we all got on that, except for Paris. And that's why, you know, he's got to come clean with that before I can ever have like a realistic conversation with him about jack shit. Because it's just wrong. And, you know, I'm still, you know, all bullshit aside, I'm sure you've seen through my social media for years that even with all the drama, I've always extended the olive branch for everybody to try to come to the table and figure out some kind of a resolution, you know, whether it was to try to get the rights back or to do a show or to this or to that or blah, blah, blah. After a while, you just kind of feel like it's an insult. Like, really? How many times? What do I got to fucking like beg you for you to have your glory back, motherfucker? I gotta beg you to make the fans happy. You don't deserve the fans if you don't want to fucking do it. Fuck them. If you don't want to, if you can't, that's how I just feel at this point. Like, if you motherfuckers can't put aside all your bullshit for the album isn't even 30 minutes long. If you can't put aside your bullshit for 30 minutes to make all those people happy, then you don't deserve those fans. I would do it, you know, but I'm not holding my breath because life goes on. I made 2 kick-ass records just last year. I'm on a trajectory. I'm not going backwards. I'm going forwards. You know, if there's ever a chance to do a quote-unquote Age of Quarrel show, that would be cool. But I'm not trying to regurgitate the fucking past because it's just vomit. You know, what Paris did is unforgivable. When John got me jumped at Webster Hall and all that shit, that was unforgivable. I'm always willing to do the right thing, but I don't forget. And I'm very happy doing what I'm doing now. I'm going on tour this year, and I'm going to kick the fucking shit out of every club I go to. I'm very enthusiastic. I don't need the baggage of the past. The future is, and it starts now.
I will translate it short for our German audience. Yeah. Also ich habe ihn gefragt, wie jetzt der aktuelle Status ist, und er sagte halt, ja, es ist, also ich habe ihn gefragt, ist es nicht irgendwo ironisch, ne, dass die Band halt untereinander zerstritten ist, aber müsste quasi zusammenkommen für das Album, das sich The Age of Quarrel halt dementsprechend nennt. Und er sagte so, ja, nicht wirklich, weil nämlich der Paris, der Gitarrist, war auf dem Album. Er hat nämlich damals das Album damals selber quasi so hergestellt mit seinem Vater zusammen, und dadurch, dass es halt so ist, dass er die Songs geschrieben hat und sich auch in den Credits eingetragen hat, wenn dann jemand überhaupt was an Anteile bekommt, dann er. Aber es ist auch so, dass das halt erstmal auch gefixt werden müsste innerhalb der Band, weil natürlich nicht nur ein Musiker daran teilgenommen hatte, sondern alle, und das müsste dann gleichgerecht aufgeteilt werden. Nichtsdestotrotz sagt er so, ja, was in Webster Hall passiert hat mit John Joseph, das hat er nicht nicht vergessen, mit Paris die Sache hat er nicht vergessen, sagt er aber auch, er ist oder war öfters offen gegenüber, irgendeine Show auf die Beine zu stellen. Das hat in der Vergangenheit nicht geklappt. Und er sagte, irgendwann hat doch die Schnauze voll. Er will nach vorne schauen, nicht zurück, will sehen, was in die Zukunft ist, weil eine neue Tour steht an, ein neues Album steht an und das ist drauf, worauf er sich fokussieren möchte. What you said about the future is very interesting because I saw next month or the month after you will release some kind of box set, 5 CDs, live records from your own archives, right?
Yeah, actually, well, it's funny because yes, that is coming out in the future, but we're kind of taking a look at the past because there are old concerts, and this is just going to be the first box set probably because I have a lot of archives, but this is, we started with the early days, like the very early stuff, and I am making sure that the proceeds of this are distributed to the people that were the songwriters, or I don't remember how it's broken down, so I can't, but it's either the songwriting or the actual performers on it, whatever it was, because, you know, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, somebody's got to start doing the right thing somewhere down the line. So but I can't remember how it was broken down. It was like a technicality, like it was either distributed to the songwriting credit or to the performers on there. So I don't remember which way it was. So don't try to throw that at me later. Like he said, whatever. I'm not really, the business part is really not my thing. I stand behind what I do. And if and when, I should say, when I get the rights to Age of Quarrel and Best Wishes back, I intend everybody who if in a perfect situation, in a perfect world, everybody would get paid for the records that they played on. Mm-hmm. There have been a lot of Cro-Mags records. Everybody who played on those records should get paid for what they played on, in my opinion. And if there was ever a time when all those records were consolidated onto some label, some big brand, that would be a perfect situation, you know. Mm. Hindsight is 2020, you know. None of us knew what we were getting ourselves into, and I ain't worried because, you know, I mean, I either wrote or co-wrote every song and every lyric, so my signature is all through. So I'm getting paid half, period, because I wrote half the music, either completely wrote the music or co-wrote it, and the same with the lyrics. So I don't. And what people fail to realize is it's not like this makes so much money. I don't need to rip these motherfuckers off for some kind of chump change bullshit, man. My life is good, man. I ain't trying to, you know, I'm just looking forward to it.
It's about the share. I mean, it's about a fair share.
It's just about doing what the fuck you know you're supposed to do, man. You know, certain things you just know you're supposed to do. You know? And if you don't do it anyway, then that says you have a serious fucking character flaw. You know? The fact that Paris could fuck all of us on that original thing is like, dude, it's just like Profile. It's like, well, you know, they're just going to challenge us. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, that's the same mentality that said, well, it's legal to have slaves, so I have slaves. It's legal. Forget about morality. Forget about this, that. It's legal. You know?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
It's like,
translated short for German viewers. Was Harley sagte, es geht halt bei der Platte um halt, dass jeder seinen fairen Anteil bekommt. Er sagte das halt auch, nur weil etwas ja, rechtens ist, heißt das nicht automatisch, dass jemand auch Recht hat, weil es sind verschiedene Leute dran und er möchte das halt unbedingt fair gestalten. Es kommt auch mal eine Livebox raus und da sagt er halt auch, er weiß nicht genau, wie die Aufteilung natürlich ist, weil das eine Business-Sache ist und Business-Sache gibt er halt Leuten ab, die das halt besser verstehen, aber dass halt die Leute, die daran teilgenommen haben, den gleichen Anteil bekommen. Er sagte auch bei Age of Quarrel und Best Wishes, wenn er die Rechte haben würde, er würde dann auch ja, jeden den gleichen Share dementsprechend halt geben. Aber das ist natürlich eine Sache, da muss natürlich sehr, sehr viel ja, zusammenspielen. What I want to ask is, could you imagine, in case, let me say, it doesn't work with that you get the rights on the Age of Quarrel back, that you play the whole record again, just you and the band? Or is it something like to say that's it's such a unique record, I don't do this?
To be truthful, I actually already recorded all the songs again, you know, with my guys. But that was really just, excuse me, that was just because we were in the studio. It wasn't because I planned to re-release it. First of all, I hated the production on that record. I just hated it. But nonetheless, there was a certain magic there. And I don't think that could even happen again if we brought all those people together in the same studio and did it just like we did it the first time. Because everybody plays a little differently now. And everybody's head's in a different place. So I don't think re-recording is necessarily the solution. I think just playing it live and loving the songs and other people playing them, that's how we pay respect to the songs. Right? Other people covering them, I love seeing people cover those songs. I just got a video of some kids at School of Rock playing Hard Times, and it was like the coolest thing ever. This girl singing the songs, kicking its ass. Made me proud, you know. So that record may be, you know, just one of them things that goes down in history as a bunch of bullshit. But nonetheless, it inspired a lot of things. It inspired a lot of good things, and from what I understand, those songs got a lot of people through a lot of hard times in their lives. So, for better or for worse, I'm honored to have been the soundtrack in those people's lives.
I want to close that topic. Is there anything left you want to share about the Age of Quarrel, or even for people who are seeing, oh, there's a repress coming up, I want to buy it?
Well, I can't tell people to go out and not buy it because they want to enjoy the music, and, you know, but they should know that we're not getting any money for it. You know, I'm not going to tell you to go out and steal it, because then you're kind of over your local record store who spent money to order it. But you should know the history behind it. And maybe what you do is write a letter to the record label and say, you motherfuckers suck and you should pay the band. If you want to show some solidarity, write them and tell them what scumbags they are, and that slavery ended a long time ago and you can't own people or their music forever. But I'm not going to tell anybody not to buy the records. I'm not going to tell anybody to stop wanting to hear it. And I wish every band out there who likes New York hardcore would cover a song off that record just to say fuck you to the label.
Ich habe ihn gerade nochmal gefragt, ob es vielleicht eine Möglichkeit wäre, das Album nochmal neu einzuspielen. Er sagte gerade, ja, er hat es mit seiner Band schon mal eingespielt im Studio, aber sagt auch, das ist ein Klassiker und damals die Zeit war etwas Besonderes, auch wenn er die Produktion nicht mag, und das würde das Ganze auch dann irgendwie nehmen und verflüssigen, zumal das ein Ding ist, was halt sehr, sehr viele auch stellenweise gecovert haben. Er sagt auch ein Beispiel genannt, da war ein junges Mädchen in der Highschool, in der Schule, hat das dort gecovert und das hat ihn zum Beispiel sehr, sehr berührt, und er sagte auch, ja, nee, das sollte man so lassen, wie es ist, auch wenn es natürlich schwerfällt. Dann habe ich ihn noch gefragt, ja, wie es eigentlich aussieht, was er den Leuten zu sagen hat, die dieses Album gerne kaufen möchte. Er sagt natürlich auch, er kann es niemandem verbieten, weil die Leute das natürlich haben wollen. Es ist ein Klassiker, aber auf der anderen Seite sollen die Leute das wissen, und ganz, ganz wichtig, man soll den Label schreiben und sagen, hey, bezahlt bitte die Musiker. Am liebsten sagt er auch, ja, sollte man das klauen. Das Blöde ist jedoch, man würde seinen Record Store Dealer dadurch einfach schädigen, weil er das natürlich dann dementsprechend eingekauft. And yeah, about new songs, new record, is there anything planned like that? Do we have
an
agenda?
Well, I have a new, I have an album's worth of material that's more or less, the basic tracks are done, but it's not finished. You know, I still have to add more rhythm tracks and vocals and leads and stuff like that. But all the drums, bass, basic guitars, a lot of it's mapped out. I have a record that's just, you know, it's just a matter of timing scheduling, this and that. But I expect to have at least a single or an EP from the forthcoming album out pretty soon. I'm not going to give you a date because I don't want to be wrong, but it will be soon, and it's a good amount of material. So I do have, you should expect a new record, if not by the end of this year, definitely early next year.
Okay. And for our viewers and English-speaking viewers first, these are the current records, full length and the EP. And yeah, you hear this, and for German Viewers, also ihr habt es gehört, vielleicht Ende des Jahres kommt eine neue Platte raus, aber das sind hier noch die beiden aktuellen neuen Platten, und zwar einmal hier 2020 und natürlich In the Beginning, sehr, sehr schöne Platten. Harley, thank you very much for the time, for the interview. I hope to see you this summer. I see you will play in Dortmund. This is the last European date. I try to be there. And
I hope so.
So again, thank you.
We're also we're gonna try to create a platform for people to watch a lot of the shows from this tour. We haven't worked out all the details yet, but if you just keep checking our website and my social media, for those of you who want to follow us on tour, we're going to try to find a way to bring you along with us.
Great. I will put everything down in our description, your Facebook, your Instagram and all other stuff, also the records where you can buy them. Also ihr habt es gehört, Harley versucht, alle irgendwie zusammenzubekommen. Alle wichtigen Links habt ihr unten in der Beschreibung. Harley, thank you very much again. We will see you.
Always a pleasure, my brother. I look forward to it next time again.
Moshpit Passion, for the passion of music.